Hey guys, this is a BMW X2 dash. I've had some requests on how I got the dash out, so I'm going to try and put together a bit of a video to help you. I've already put it back in, so I don't really want to pull it out again, but I'll show you what I did to do it. Please watch all the way through because I've taken snippets from the whole build and put it together to give you an idea of what's involved in putting the dash in and taking it out. And yeah, if you enjoy this, please like and subscribe because that'll help me motivate me to do more videos like this and take on other projects and do lots of exciting things. Really appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoy. Thank you very much. The main tools you need are a T20 Torx bit, like this, and some of these. Now first of all you need to take the centre console out, or you need to loosen it and move it back, because underneath here is 3 screws which connect into the dash, so you need to be able to get this off to get into the screws in behind it. To do that, you pull off the back panel. This is the back panel of the center console. Now as you can see, there's some lugs here and here, and then a couple down the bottom, and some little clips that hold it in place. So what you can do to get it out is just gently prise on the sides. You can actually pull it with your hands usually, you just pull it out. And then once you get to about here, you want to lean it over and unplug the cigarette lighter, which is this plug here. And that just sort of pulls out. And then once that's out of the way, you can pull it out and get it out of the way so that you have access to the 2 screws, or 2 nuts rather, here and here. And then just to be annoying, there's another one down in here and another one down under there, which you need to undo. And then once you can do that, this is just still a wee bit loose, you can lift it up and backwards once those screws at the front are undone. And then you can undo this flap under here. There's a screw underneath for this. Use a pry tool to get the USB backing plate out, and then it exposes a screw for this. There's also 2 more in the side, which you can get to. You take this this panel here off, and there's 2 screws behind that. Undo those 2. So this one here, 2 here, 3 under here, and this arm piece comes off. Then you can pull up this plastic item here. It's got little clips, so you just gently pry until it lifts up, and then pry under here until it lifts out. I think from memory there was a screw on this one as well. Once you get this off, then you can undo the plugs for that, undo the plug for this, and push from the bottom to push this up and out, and then you can sort of rotate it and pop it through, so you can lift this piece off and out. Once that's out, you can slide the center console back, or you sort of lift it up at the back, slide it back out of the way, and then you can start undoing the screws in behind here. And then you want to take this little dude here apart, undo a couple of screws. This pulls down, and I think you pull it up and out. And then underneath here, this is just clipped in with a few panels. That bottom piece comes out like that. On both sides, you want to pull this panel. Once you got this off, you can pull that panel out. It's clipped in behind it. You can sort of just pull this out of the way, and it's in behind there. Pull that panel out, and you can get into the screws in behind there. You'll need to have the steering wheel off, and it's very important that you have it straight before you start, and you will need to get the airbag off to get the steering wheel off. And I've got that shown in another video, so you can look at that if you wish. And then once the steering wheel's off, the airbag's off, sorry, carefully unplug it. Make sure the inside hock spring does not move. You want to mark where that position is, and it does rotate, so you need to possibly put some tape or something on it to stop it rotating. Then you can undo the bolt for the steering wheel by holding it and then using a bar to undo it. The steering wheel comes off. Before the steering wheel comes off, I made 3 marks on the spline and on the steering wheel inside, just to make sure that it went back on exactly the same position, and that saves having to reset it. So then the steering wheel comes off. This panel you pry gently along these edges and then along here, and then it comes down. I think at the back I pulled a little bit just to help separate it and pull it down and out of the way. This top one just remains loose and sort of flaps in the wind. And then once you got that off, you can see under here there's a couple of screws there for the speedo. If you undo those, the speedo, you pull here gently and that tilts forward, and you can pull it up and out just enough so that you can undo the plug on it, or the plugs. And then if you want to, you can mark them with some tape so you know where they go. That's always a good idea. Then you can pull at this. It's got clips all the way along, and underneath the stereo pulls out as well. The stereo faceplate is connected to this with 3 little pins, so you can pull that back and out. The pins should come out, but if you have trouble, it's because they're kind of connected together. But once this is pulled out, there's a plug behind it for this, a plug behind it for the LED, which runs along here, which is about here, and then the ear ducts are in behind it as well, but they just come out with it. But the key is making sure you mark everything when it comes out, otherwise it's a bit of a nightmare to try and get back together. But it's not that bad. I managed to do it. I didn't actually mark it, but most of the plugs fit inside the right size socket, so you just keep looking until you find the one that it should go in, and it's generally in the area of that cable. So if that cable only goes to here, you know that it's around that area it needs to plug into. Once you got this off, there's 2 screws underneath for this, for the LCD panel, and then once those are undone, you can pull it up and out. Pull it up and then you can unplug it and pull it out safely. What else? Once you're underneath and got these panels off, there's a couple of different screws along here holding the dash, but there's actually not that many. There is, I believe, you'll have to take this off, and there's one in behind here. Let me just check the photos on that one. I'll confirm that one later, but it's the same on both sides. Alright guys, here's the dash that I pulled out of the BMW X2. I'll show you exactly where all the screws go so you know how to take it out and put it back in. This is here. This is where there's a little compartment that bolts into, or it screws into that. Here is one of the screws that goes into the frame that holds the dash. Here's another one here underneath. Once you pull the lower steering wheel trim off, you get access to that one, as well as this one over here. You pull this vent out here, although I don't know if you need to, but looking in from the top, once you get the side panel out of the way, there's an access screw in here. Don't think there's any from the side. No. Down in here, this is where the front console screws into. And then once that's out of the way, there's some screws in here which attach to the dash. Once the stereo faceplate is out and the stereo which sits in here is out, there's a couple of screws here, which hold the dash in. As you can see here and here, these are the screws that you undo first before pulling the display unit out that way. The shroud clips in via clips here, here, here and here, which you can take the shroud out by sort of prising it up gently. This is a non-heads-up display model, but in here there's another vent and there's some wiring in behind it as well. I don't think you actually need to take that off, but I did anyway. Here's the damaged dash, that's why I had to replace it. Airbag had blown. And behind here is the main vent panel. And as you can see, every time there's a place like that, that's where one of the clips is going in. So you can gently prise them behind them and pull it out. On a new car, they come out surprisingly easy. So you don't need to be rough, just take your time and they'll come out. That way you don't break anything. As you can see under here is where the glove box is. So you take the lower panels off, undo the glove box, and you can get access to the screws that go into here. The glove compartment comes out of the way. And then in behind here there's some access screws to hold the dash in place. And then another one in the top here. I'll just quickly show you how to get this and this out, because you do need to take them out to take the dash off. So you get your pry tool and very, very gently just go in from the side, and you don't need to use a lot of force. It does just pop out. So I'm just doing this one-handedly. You don't want to make any damage on the dash, so just very gently. Being a new car, they're very easy to get at. You see, that's nearly all the way out now. Just pull gently, and you can sort of see the clips that are on these things, and then you can pull that plug out nice and easily. And that's how you do it. So if you put it back in, make sure it's plugged up to the correct plug into the socket, and then gently push it back in, clicks into place, and there you go. Same with this one here. I won't actually take this one out again, but it's the same, exactly the same sort of thing. So I believe that was all. It was relatively easy. This dash is nice and light. You can take it in and out by yourself, or I did it anyway. So yeah, hope this is helpful. I'll show you it going back in. I have a short clip of that. But if you've got any questions, just let me know and I can probably try and make some more content to suit what you're looking for specifically. This is what it looks like with the dash out. So you get an idea of the number of wires that you have to plug back up. It is a bit daunting, but yeah, if you work at them one by one, it's not actually too bad. You can do it. This is a new airbag. As you can see, they are explosive devices and shouldn't be handled by anyone who doesn't know what they're doing or not qualified. It's brand new. It's safe. I'm not going to be doing anything dangerous with it. But that is a passenger airbag, which will go up under the dash up in here. And when it goes off, the whole dash splits open, so you have to put a new dash in there. Hey, this is a replacement dash to go into the BMW X2. I got it from another wrecked X2. But as you can see, this panel is still fully intact. Hasn't blown because the airbag's blown through it. So I'm going to put this brand new airbag in here onto it. Bought brand new from BMW. No issues with compatibility or anything like that. And it goes up under here where those screws are. Okay, once I've got that in, I can put the dash back into this nightmare of a spaghetti arrangement in here. Brand new airbag is going in. T25 Torx bit. As you can see, new airbag's in, all the screws are done up. and this is ready to go back into the car. I put the steering wheel back on while I was doing other parts of the repair, but now it's time to pull it back off so I can try and get this dash back into place. Does anyone think I'm going to be able to get all these wires back together? I don't know. There's a lot to remember here. Some people might think I'm a bit crazy, but I think I can do it. Getting the engine back in was a mission. There was so many plugs and hoses to get done up. I ended up taking bits and pieces in and out several times. But yeah, big sense of relief once it all goes back together. Steering wheel is off. Now I need to get this bit undone. I can't actually remember if I had it off or not when I took the dash out. I'm just going to loosen it off. Anyway, move it out of the way and see what happens. I think these are probably going to get in the way. Yeah. That looks a bit easier. Right, so I'll try and put this dash in. Ugh. Dash was lucky. Unfortunately, guys, I don't have a lot of footage of me putting it back together, but the process was just feed the steering wheel controls back through, and you sort of jiggle the dashboard in and out and gently push it towards the windscreen to get it into place. And then once it's in place, you want to make sure that all the wires and plugs are all coming through the right holes to make it easier. Or like you can reach through and grab them and make sure that they're not jamming on anything. Once you can see everything's through or not jammed, then that's when you start putting the dash screws back in, and then one by one putting the components back in place. It really is quite easy. You just need to pick a piece and work your way through one by one. Cool. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. See you in the next video. Bye.